The movie begins with a man named Yuri Orlav recounting his family's history as Ukrainian refugees who pretended to be Jewish to receive aid from the Soviet Union in the 1970s. Fast forward to the early 1980s, Yuri and his brother Vitaly continue to pose as Jews, while their father fully embraces the identity, which enrages their Catholic mother. Operating a restaurant business in Odessa, Yuri acknowledges the prevalence of crime and murders in the area due to Russian mafia activity as they sought refuge in this region as well. Despite this, he has never directly witnessed violence until one fateful day at a high-end restaurant, where he observes a Russian mobster eliminate two assassins with a Kalashnikov rifle. Recognizing the lucrative nature of the arms trade, Yuri ventures into the underworld, making his first sale of a submachine gun to a mobster he meets at the temple during Sabbath with his father. Though initially nervous, Yuri completes the transaction swiftly, realizing his knack for the smuggling business. Sporting a bullet necklace to symbolize his newfound journey, he eventually persuades his initially hesitant brother Vitaly to join him as partners. At an arms sale convention, Yuri learns from veteran arms dealer Simone Wisman that his approach to selling to both sides of a conflict is amateurish compared to Simone's strategy of taking sides in wars. However, this doesn't deter Yuri and Vitaly as they continue to expand their illicit empire. Their big break comes during the Lebanon War, where they capitalize on supplying ammunition abandoned by U.S. troops, which proves more cost-effective than transporting the weapons back. By greasing the palms of military officials, they effortlessly sell the guns by the kilo. On their way back with their newly acquired weapons, Yuri and Vitaly are confronted with the sad reality of war when they stumble upon small children being mercilessly gunned down. Despite the fear of witnessing the horror, Yuri urges Vitaly to look away, reminding him that it's not their battle to fight. Yuri's business strategy knows no bounds, as he indiscriminately sells weapons to all sides of conflicts, from Israeli Uzi guns to Muslims to fascist arms to communists, even supplying Afghanistan when they were at odds with the Americans. By the mid-1980s, Yuri's arms were present in 8 out of 10 major war zones worldwide, each gunshot representing cash in his pocket. Yuri adopts multiple false identities, equipped with fake passports and separate suitcases tailored for each region he frequently visits for his business. During a voyage to Colombia aboard a ship, they receive word from nearby Interpol agents, prompting them to hastily alter the ship's name and flag to evade detection. Yuri acknowledges the unyielding Interpol agent Jack Valentine, whose monetary bribes couldn't sway, as he values his reputation above all else. Suspicious of Kono, the new name of Yuri's boat, Jack boards the ship. Still, Yuri conceals the weapons shipment between rotting potatoes, with his counterintelligence team distracting Jack long enough to evade capture. In Colombia, a mafia boss compensates them with 6 kilos of cocaine instead of cash, resorting to violence when Yuri resists. Eventually agreeing to the unconventional payment, Yuri sustains a gunshot wound while Vitaly runs away with the cocaine, spiraling into addiction. Yuri takes responsibility for his brother's well-being and takes him to a rehabilitation center, admitting his struggle with addiction fixating on a model named Ava Fronte. Using his wealth, Yuri schedules a fabricated photo shoot to lure his dream girl, manipulating her into believing their encounters are mere coincidence. He purchases the hostel where she stays and seduces her, eventually taking her away to New York on a private jet. His efforts result in their marriage. However, Yuri soon discovers the emptiness of possessing his ideal woman, realizing that fantasies are best left unrealized, especially as he depletes his fortune to sustain her lavish lifestyle. Meanwhile, Vitaly succumbs to addiction once more and undergoes rehabilitation. Following the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Yuri capitalizes on the chaos, leveraging his connections to his uncle, General Dmitry, a former Soviet officer overseeing Ukrainian army armaments procurement. Exploiting this link, Yuri acquires a substantial arsenal of illegal Soviet military equipment, including 40,000 Kalashnikovs, guided and unguided missiles, and helicopter gunships. His rival Simone arrives late to the scene, only to be ridiculed by Yuri for his political entanglements in arms dealing. Despite Simone's offer for cooperation, Yuri mocks him, firmly maintaining his independent stance. As Jack Valentine resumes his investigation, focusing on Yuri's acquisition of military aircraft, Yuri deflects suspicion by claiming the helicopter purchase was intended for humanitarian purposes. Yet, Jack isn't Yuri's sole adversary, as Dmitri rejects numerous offers from competing arms dealers, remaining loyal to his family. Simone, resorting to desperate measures, presents Dmitri with a proposition, which is dismissed as Dmitri remains loyal. Tragically, as Simone exits Dmitri's presence, his car explodes, eliminating him. Despite the setback, Yuri's deal with Dmitri proceeds, marking it as the most significant illegal arms transaction of the 20th century. Yuri reflects on the changing dynamics of the arms market, noting the shift from Asia to Africa. With the emancipation of American slaves settling in Africa under various dictatorships, the current ruler being André Baptiste, Yuri sees potential in the African market. However, his reluctance to engage with André is fueled by the dictator's reputation for sadistic violence. As Yuri prepares to depart on his ship, he's stopped by André Baptiste Jr., who insists his father wishes to meet Yuri. Despite Yuri's polite refusal, he's forced to accompany them. Reluctant to face the brutal André, Yuri finds himself in a tense situation when André demonstrates his fondness for violence by shooting one of his guards. Yuri, fearing for his safety, hurriedly pitches his new firearm, emphasizing its pristine condition to save the deal. Impressed by Yuri's unwavering focus on business in the middle of chaos, André agrees to do business together. During his stay in Monrovia, Yuri grapples not only with the fear of André, but also with unsettling rumors surrounding André Jr., including tales of his cannibalism to gain supernatural strength. Yuri's fear deepens when he's provided with two enticing women, only to resist their advances due to the alarming prevalence of AIDS in Monrovia. Knowing that 1 out of every 4 people in Monrovia suffers from AIDS holds back the temptation and makes them leave. The following day, André showcases his unconventional approach to warfare, introducing Yuri to his young scouts, teenagers proficient in handling Kalashnikovs. André believes in the efficacy of youthful marksmanship, equating the impact of a bullet fired by a 14-year-old is more than that of a seasoned adult. Despite their modest means, André offers payment in timber or blood diamonds, which Yuri opts for. Yuri tells André he knows about his plan to start the war, but asks him to delay the operation for a week because, at that time, he will be able to provide him with armored personnel as it would give him an upper hand. André, impressed by Yuri's strategy, muses that he is called the Lord or War, but perhaps it is Yuri who is the true warlord. By the late 1990s, Yuri's wealth exceeded the fabrications he spun for Ava. Despite her newfound passion for painting, Yuri secretly purchases her artwork under an anonymous name, paying large sums to keep his wife happy. Meanwhile, Vitaly, though showing signs of improvement, harbors envy towards his brother, questioning Ava's knowledge of Yuri's illicit arms trade. Yuri reassures him, claiming Ava remains oblivious and believes he operates a legitimate car business instead. Concerned by Vitaly's financial struggles, he tells him to get a hold of his life. He wonders how much Ava knows and how much she chooses to ignore, because to her, he is a good provider and, as much as she knows, loyal as well. However, Yuri's business encounters hurdles as he faces checking from new law enforcement officers, while a temporary ceasefire disrupts the regions to which he supplied arms. Unfazed, Jack Valentine intensifies his investigation, sifting through Yuri's discarded trash for clues, determined to uncover the truth behind Yuri's operations. Ava calls Yuri to ask him if there is something she should be worried about as officers are scanning their trash bags, but he tells her not to worry about it. At the peak of his status as a merchant, Yuri gets on a flight transporting his illegal weapon shipment to Africa, only to be intercepted by Valentine and his team. Under fire, they're compelled to make an emergency landing without incriminating documents. Faced with imminent capture and certain exposure of his illegal dealings, Yuri makes a bold decision, ordering the pilot to land on a highway, disregarding the safety protocols. Interpol swiftly intervenes, dispatching a truck to the highway while their plane lands at the airport. Sensing the dire consequences, the pilots flee, leaving Yuri to confront his predicament alone. In a desperate attempt to evade prosecution, Yuri seizes the opportunity to dispose of the evidence, directing locals to take the cargo of guns and ammunition. By the time Valentine and his team arrive, the plane is stripped bare of any incriminating evidence, thanks to the swift action of the locals. Valentine confronts Yuri, highlighting the devastating impact of small arms like AK-47, weapons Yuri has profited from. He explains that these weapons have done far more damage than even nuclear weapons because of how frequently they are used. Attempting to appeal to Yuri's conscience, Valentine holds him accountable for perpetuating violence and exploitation among poor communities. Jack holds Yuri in custody for 24 hours, saying he is not taking a day away from Yuri, but giving an extra day to the victims that will be killed because of his trade. He holds him hostage there for 24 hours, and Yuri watches as the locals tear apart the plane and steal every bit of it. The next day, Yuri arrives at his room in Monrovia and finds Andre there holding a gun to the head of Simone. Andre demands Yuri to execute his rival, sensing Yuri's reluctance to spill blood, but Yuri refuses. Andre observes Yuri's refusal to get his hands dirty, but still, Yuri gets the intense urge to kill Simons that Andre proposes a macabre solution. They'll both pull the trigger together. Yielding to the pressure, Yuri reluctantly joins Andre in Simone's execution. Andre gives all the power to Yuri's hand, who pulls the trigger. He starts hallucinating Simone hunting him and starts wanting to die. As he is running away from hallucinations of Simone, he comes across an enemy of Andre and asks him to kill him. The man fires twice, but the gun misses and he lets him go. Next, Yuri comes across some wild animals who pass without eating him and starts feeling like he is cursed. On the other hand, Jack tells Ava that her husband is an arms dealer and tells her he expects to get her help in exposing Yuri's business as Ava's parents died from the use of illegal firearms, which she must understand as she went through the pain of losing a dear one. When Yuri returns home, he finds Ava sitting naked in their room. She tells him she can no longer wear clothes or jewelry or anything brought by his money, as they all have blood on them. She begs him to stop, but he says it's the only thing he's good at. She tells him she failed as an actress and then failed as an artist. She has failed as a parent as well, but she will not fail as a human being. For the next 6 months, Yuri stops the arms trade and starts legitimate businesses that confuses Jack. Yuri realizes the difficulties and low earnings of honest work. Andre comes to New York and finds Yuri hoping to strike another deal, which he initially refuses. But after being offered a diamond, Yuri gets back into business. As he leaves for business, Ava decides to follow him and unlocks the container, continuing his multiple lives by using their son's birthday as the password. Yuri, on the other hand, convinces a now very stable Vitali to come with him. They head to the east of Sierra Leone to give the arms, but there Vitali notices Andre's men brutally killing women and children and preparing to destroy a refugee camp. Vitali begs Yuri to stop the deal immediately, but Yuri tells them if they back out, they will be killed. Realizing Yuri will not understand, Vitali starts taking out grenades and blows the trucks containing the weapons. Vitali is brutally shot, and despite having several bullets in his body, he still holds tightly onto a grenade, wanting to blow away the second truck of ammunition and save the tribe from massacre. However, he dies on the spot, and Yuri hands the Grande to the Africans after closing it. The blow had accidentally killed Andre's son, and Yuri sits on the deal taking half the diamonds because half the weapons were still safely delivered, despite acknowledging the fact that he is now lost in life. Yuri still believes that evil prevails with or without the intervention of people like him. He paid the doctor only $20 to remove the bullets from Vitali's body and falsify a death certificate so he could take the body home. However, Yuri is taken into custody after customs officers discover a bullet inside Vitali's body. Ava divorces him, and his parents tell him that they consider both their sons dead. Jack notices how calm Yuri looks and explains to him that it was Ava who led them to the evidence, and that the entire world is now aware of what he has done. He further tells Yuri that he will be sentenced to serve in prison for life. But Yuri tells him nothing matters as his brother is dead. His family has disowned him, and his wife and son have left him for good. Yuri tells Jack that soon he will be called outside by a high-ranking officer who will compliment him for finding a major firearm lord. Still, despite Jack's resistance, Yuri will be released because he helps the politics by supplying weapons to the allies that can't be supplied in daylight. Jack then hears a knock on the door and realizes that Yuri is right. But before leaving, he tells Yuri that he would tell him to go to hell. However, he realizes that Yuri is already there. Yuri gets back to supplying arms and weapons to war zones. In an outro, Yuri tells the camera that arms dealers are going to inherit the Earth because the rest of it is too busy killing others with the weapons they provide. He says the secret to survival is to never go to war with yourself.